everybody. Let me get this. Oop, don't start that again. Good morning, good morning. What's going on? Let me get this.
Guys,
We are just figuring out a few things. Been out of town, so I got to figure out resetting up these camera angles and stuff, but we should be pretty good. That one looks all right. What's going on, Eli?
bro.
All right. So, today we've got a few things just to talk about right off the bat, just to kind of clarify, I guess, some things. And then kind of dive in a little bit more to some of the other topics and introduce tablature. And I'm forgetting something else. Any questions you might have, or anyone out there? So, yeah, definitely ask anytime. What's going on? Definitely ask any questions anytime. And again, I don't think it's on this screen. It is not, but when we show some of the other things, that ASAN thing again, you can donate to, so, and get free lessons. All right, so to begin with, first of all, any questions right off the bat?
No, I live with this guy, so I've been asking him questions all weekend, or all week. No, nothing right off the bat, but I'm sure something will come up.
For sure. Okay, so just to I want to clarify a few things that a lot of people, when they're starting, get super confused. So if we're talking about, this is mainly going to relate to your strumming hand, so the rhythm side of things. But if you are playing, you kind of have three different categories, I guess, to think about. At the beginning of a piece of music, you'll get most of this information. But you're up here where it says, like, we've got the quarter note equals 120. That's giving you the tempo, which is literally just how fast that's going to be, okay? The thing underneath here, the time signature, and if we were playing in a different key, that's where you would see the key signature too, but don't worry about that for now. But the top number here, so where you have the 4, I guess you have 2 4s, right? But the top 4 tells you how many beats you have, and the bottom 4, in this case, is telling you what kind of note. So whatever, you could have literally any number on top. You need some type of note at the bottom. So if we were to look at, let's just pull up this little thing to show you the time signatures. You can see for the top number, you literally can have anything. You can go crazy. There was a dude in my studio I worked at that lost a bet, and then he had to write something in 99.32. So you can do anything. The bottom just has to be some type of note. So if it was a 1, that's a whole note. So if you had 4-1, that means you have 4 whole notes per measure. Okay. Now, most of the time when you are playing your, let me turn my guitar on actually. Most of the time when you are playing, 4/4 is for sure the most common. A lot of times they actually just write a C for common time. 6/8 is also pretty popular. And then if you get into the weird music that I like Meshuggah or whatever, it can get a little ridiculous. So that's just giving you the total. Most of the time as you're playing, that's going to kind of help you figure out where your chord switch is going to be. So if you have 2, 3, 4, right? If we were doing something in 6/8, we might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll talk about feel and some stuff as well. But we're just gonna leave it in 4/4 for now. Most of the time, you're not gonna see the chords if it's a strumming type song. You won't see it in this way. It looks terrible, So you might see something where they write out a rhythm. So let's go back to a rhythm we were talking about before, and I'm just writing it out with just the 0, and that's tied again. So again, that just kind of glues them together. If you were to listen to this, if my speakers were on, you would have heard it. Let me fix that. I always forget something. And I forget what's coming out, what speakers. So right there, right, gives you the rhythm. But if you were to have, like, let's say an E minor chord. Oh, geez, I don't even want to do that. I mean, it already looks terrible, right? Right, just you get the idea, right?
Mm.
And I mean, if we were to play this, it's going to be fine. But, I mean, that's no way of looking at stuff. So we're just going to worry about just the rhythm part of things, okay? So the thing that people get all the time confused is they'll blend together things like the tempo, the time signature, and the rhythm. So the rhythm, again, is specifically what you're playing in that measure. Measure just gives you how many beats, and then the top is just telling you what tempo the song is at, like what that pulse is going to be. All right, so let's try this then real quick. Go ahead and choose 2 chords you want to do. Putting you on the spot.
Okay. Well, the 2 that I was practicing.
Spam.
What was it?
Oh yeah. D sus4 / F sharp.
And then I was going from that into.
Sure. So let's try it with this rhythm then, and then we'll just to kind of illustrate this, we'll do it at different tempos. So go ahead and do it real slow. So we could have like you're starting on that / F sharp. Okay, so. So kind of go back and forth with that.
See, I'm missing that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You good? So one thing that might help you a little bit is adding a little bit of an accent when you're strumming, and then also don't be afraid to pick harder. Don't be a coward. No, try and, I mean, I feel like if you start something with more confidence, it just makes everything else easier, you know? So it's not like it's harder to second guess yourself if you started better. You know, if you jack up the first note of a solo, which I've done many times, but if I go like, you know, something that sounds awful, yeah, you got to recover, right? So when you're doing this, let's go ahead and just try that a little faster, because sometimes that can actually be easier, which sounds weird, but like if you play super slow, like my piano teacher in college used to make me do this. I don't think Tara will ever see this, but if you do, hello. But she used to make me practice super slow just to try and really emphasize that timing, you know, and it was brutal. So I'd be like at this rhythm, you know. That sort of thing. What's going on, dude? Brandon. Yeah, we're showing Jen a few things. It's been fun. Well, it's only the second one, but it's been good.
Yeah. Gives us something else to talk about at home too.
Yeah, just a bunch of music questions.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, try that. Let's try that again, but let's do it a little bit faster. So I want you to have like, and if the whole thing is too much to do at a little bit faster speed, you can always break it down where maybe you stop at this note, right?
I was gonna ask, am I even doing it?
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on, Jamie?
Jamie?
All right. So, you're starting on G this time, or are you starting on
No,
the other one?
I just have.
Sure.
All right.
All right. So let's do it about like. Give that speed a shot. Yeah. It sounds better. You're playing louder.
Okay.
Yeah. So see, like it looked more comfortable, and I mean you have a good ear, so you can kind of fill in the gaps, right? Like whether it's that pattern or something a little bit different. All right, so let's try something else real quick. Let's extend this. Most of the time, your rhythm is going to be a little bit shorter, so you know maybe like one measure or something like that. And you'll play like one chord per. But let's do a 2-measure rhythm. And yeah, I'm just making it harder on you.
Bigger chance to mess up.
It's good for you. All right. So, strumming wise, again, if you have that quarter note, you're going to do down. And when you have these eighth notes, it'd be down and up, right? That is tied. And then so this one, let's just try the second half of this rhythm real quick. So you're going to have down, 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 up, up. Okay? So just so you can hear it, because that seems to make it a little bit easier. You would have down, down. I did E minor 7 there, but it really doesn't matter. Down, 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 up, up. Very close. You just hesitated.
I was watching.
Well, I mean, you can. That always makes me play way worse. But if you're tapping your foot, or it's actually like better to tap your heel, actually, because it gets more of your body involved, and then you can feel the pulse a little bit easier. But regardless of which one you're doing, we were talking last time about having your strumming kind of more on autopilot and stuff like that, because I mean, especially for you when you want to sing, you don't want to have to be paying attention at all to this, right? Right, Jamie? So yeah, you want to totally ignore this stuff.
Yeah.
So not, you know what I mean. So when you're playing that, like I said, it was just more of like you hesitated a little bit, which is super common there. So doing like down, down. If you're tapping your foot, it will match. You're keeping this going consistently. So down, down. You're still doing the down and the up, right? Eli, the acoustic is kind of like what the guitar that I let you borrow, Jen's one, or like this, where it's got the big sound hole and stuff. The electric is more of like what I'm playing, where you can put all kinds of effects and stuff more easily on it and more rockin'. I love acoustic stuff, but I always play electric more. All right, so try that second measure one more time. So let's do down, 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 down. Yeah, Grandpa's guitar for sure. There you go. Yeah, it's she just got this one from her dad.
Yeah, it's not Grandpa's guitar anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's try, and actually, let me just show this because I didn't last time. If you ever see the double line with the 2 dots, it's a repeat. So most what you're gonna do is you repeat it to wherever this is. Makes it a lot easier to write. So if you only were to repeat that part, it'd be right there, and then it'll tell you how many times. But for right now, let's just put one of these basic ones in there. Let's try the whole rhythm just one time through. So
now I don't remember the first one.
I'll play it for you.
Okay. Putting me on this spot.
Yeah, the inlays on there are really cool, aren't they? They actually, I hadn't really heard of this. I don't know if anyone out there knows anything about Cedar Ridge? I don't know anything about it, but the inlay work is super good. There's no like filler stuff around there that you normally see. It's all done real well, and it sounds good. It also, I haven't seen this in a long time, like only on a couple guitars, but the input is really cool because you can do XLR and quarter inch, so you can go to like DI boxes or whatever, a lot of different hookup options, which is pretty sweet. All right, so let's just take one chord. So what's the chord we're doing?
Let's go with G.
G. All right.
My normal.
So when we're doing that G chord, don't worry about repeating it right now. Just go ahead and go through this rhythm. Okay, so you're gonna do that down, down, up, up, down, up, down, 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 up. Long, right?
Okay.
So if you want, you can do like a great way of practicing is to break it up. So you could do the first measure, second measure separately, and then kind of glue them together. You could also just add like one note at a time. and gradually build it up. So go ahead and just try it real slow. So just go ahead and. It's okay. I'll do it one more time for you. So you'll have. So just go ahead and I just want to see how it goes.
Oops.
Almost.
Let's try again. Oh.
Doink.
Oh, no.
So for first half, you were doing no problem. So down, down, down. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know where I was.
Okay, yeah, it's easy to lose your spot, right? And that's kind of why I wanted to do the longer one.
Not like the hopping bubble.
What's that?
I want the hopping
Oh,
thing.
like from sing-alongs?
That tells me where I am. All right.
I don't know if I could keep up with the, the computer doesn't react fast enough when I do this little thing. I could try going, dun, 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 dun. That won't work either. Just do the first, let's do this. Let's do like kind of a call and response. So I'll play part of it, and I want you to repeat it. Okay? So let's start with what I think you'll be able to do is just the first half. So. So right there, you're already up to this one, right? So then if we let's add the next down up. So. Try it one more time. You hesitated on that last upstroke. So. And if you want, like if you're stumbling on, like, say, this one little part, just try going down, down, down. Do that a few times. And then go ahead and now do it. Almost, you just repeated the first one. Yeah. You're getting like if you break it up like that, like it's really good to take the problem part, take it out, isolate, like practice a lot, and then kind of put it back in, right? If because like what most people do is always start at the beginning, and so as you go from the beginning, people get really good at this, and then they end up botching. That part.
Actually.
Yeah, and then they just keep doing it over and over again. You don't want that, right? So, so let's try doing. Let's try doing just one chord all the way through again. So let's just change up the chord. Let's. What do you think? Which change up the chord. So just. Okay, so you're gonna have. You tell me.
You tell me. You can see my fingers here. Okay, so starting at the beginning, right?
Yep.
I get lost.
So in your head, are you thinking of it as one big rhythm, or are you thinking about it as like smaller bits? What's going on? Fair enough. I mean, technically,
I just took it all and just went on the downstroke on that.
Just down, 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 down.
Okay.
I mean, you could if you're playing heavier stuff. I mean, for sure. Because I'm using like a tweed setting right now, so it's not gonna be heavy. But like, yeah. All right. So here, let's do the call and response thing again real quick. So. let's loop that last one because you've got the first half no problem. It's just and in my head it works best to think of it as a call and response. So having like the first part, and then think of this, so I kind of choose individual parts because then I can think one. Whatever works for you. But let's just do that second half. So do the down, 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 up. Yeah, do that a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can feel myself.
Yep. Nice. So yeah, so let's do that whole thing. So let's do E minor 7. Let's make it 6. That's A minor 7. Oh. There you go. E minor 7. Yeah.
Like which one is which? Okay.
Yep. You can do the A minor like that, and then E minor like this. So. You're getting it. You're overthinking it, which is super common, right?
Oh yes. Okay.
So let's take a look at this maybe in a different way, real quick. So let's go over to this, and if I were here, let's just make like a little. Actually, let me just make this what we had. So 2 measures only. Okay. So what's happening here is I'm going to set up the grid so it's 1/8 notes. So if I were just to, it's all. Just straight 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that sort of thing. Okay, so most of the time with the drums here, it's not going to be matching exactly. So like right here, this is just keeping. Let me make this a little slower. That's just keeping that pulse of our tempo. So right now, I think I just put it down to 110. So then. Within this, then you're going to have some sort of beat. So your accent, which I'll put as a snare drum, is going to kind of, this actually is a good thing to talk about real quick as a side note. It's going to determine your feel, okay? So if you have like an accent, which just really means you're going to pick harder, hit more strings kind of thing, rather than... So you can do this kind of stuff when you're just strumming by yourself to give a little bit more, but just to kind of show you, and I think this is where people get confused about the tempo and time signature and all that, the differences, right? So this is like a standard kind of accent on 2 and 4. So you would have 3, 4, right? If you put this on everything, it's like a double time, which, at this speed you probably wouldn't do too much of, but, right? And then if you wanted more of like a laid back kind of feel, if you only accent on the 3rd beat, it's going to be what's called half time. So you're going to have, that feels slower, but it's not at all. It's the exact same speed. Okay. So for right now, let's keep that half time. And let's go ahead. Yeah, the dynamics are pretty much the same. You don't tend to see as much of them written out in the music, but they're definitely the same thing. So yeah, you've got like forte and piano and all that kind of stuff. Most of the time for guitar music, you probably won't even see that written out. You'll just kind of use your ear and then fill in those gaps. So right here, what I did is I just I have the bass drum matching your rhythm. Okay. So this is not what you would normally hear, but totally botched that. Sorry. Here you go. Let's try it with this. It's more pressure, but like I said, it's good for you. So just let's try doing just like so. Yeah, so go as far as you feel like. So right there, I think you were trying to look too much. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Busted.
I should close my eyes.
Well, you don't have to necessarily close your eyes, but if you're trying to follow that little thing going back and forth, it's gonna. I mean, you see things at a totally different speed than you hear things. So there's like, it's not gonna work. So cut it out. No. So yeah, so you have like. I'm using Cubase with a drum program. Next time I see you, I can show you some stuff that you could do with this that's free. And then that way you can make kind of your own drum beats and stuff like that, because it's pretty helpful. You know, being able to put it's hard to see on here, but being able to, have every beat on here and just be able to play it. It's sweet. All right, so that sounded pretty good. Let's just do this. Do you want to do the first half or the second half?
Well, I'm way more comfortable with the first half.
Sure. Okay, so let's just do that then. So we're just gonna loop that first half, but let's start switching chords. Let's keep the rhythm the same, but show a different way of practicing it. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna keep that rhythm the same, but we're gonna change how frequently we change. Okay, so let's do like. How do you feel? Like, you feel pretty good with G and C at 9, so let's just do those, okay? So for right now, let's do one measure each. So you're gonna have. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is let's do G one whole measure, and let's do C for half of a measure, and D for half of a measure. So you're gonna have right there I did the whole measure, like, so it's like 2. You could also do it where you switch, which is what we'll do in a second, is we're gonna switch in the measure. Okay, so go ahead and that's easy for you. So then what you would want to do is choose like a chord that's more tricky. So for you, probably those ones where I remember you were saying like the ones where your ring finger and pinky are in the same spot are easier. Yeah, like the D minor to G, right?
Yeah, that one I was practicing.
You don't like that D minor.
Well, you get used to it.
So do this. Let's just go back and forth. So, and if you want, you can play it 2 times each. You know, to make it easier, so you're not switching as quickly. But you could go. That's 1 time each. If you wanted 2.
Sound right.
So the thing that's happening there is when you're strumming that D minor chord, you're kind of hitting some of those low strings. So it sounds okay with those. It sounds fine, but then it's kind of weird because the high notes of things stand out more, right? Like at the same time, the low notes overpower them.
Yeah.
So if I play. That they can actually hear it probably longer than we can, because they're hearing straight out of this software. But it's interesting. So if you're doing an accent, so say you wanted to do this pattern and kind of focus on that halftime kind of feel. If you're playing by yourself, right, and you just go, that's fine, but there's no real accent, right? But if I went kind of just change the feel of it by doing that. So, when you're changing, experiment with things, you know. All right, so let's try those two chords. What did I say again? I don't remember. D minor,
D
G.
minor, and yeah.
Yep.
It took me a while to get there.
That's all right. So there's just to bring this up again too. When you're practicing, you can practice for perfection, which is what you want to do a lot of times, right? You obviously want to play it right, but you'll get a lot of benefit from just kind of going for it. And I would never start right away with like a drum beat or a metronome, because that's too much pressure, right? So what you'd want to do is start more with just you by yourself, until you get a little bit more confident with it and tighten things up with the drum beat or the metronome. And again, you can always go on like YouTube and find a million drum beats, or make them yourself. What I want to try now is let's do G and C add 9. How are your fingers? Yeah,
That is fine.
we're getting there. All right. So, or actually, I mean, if your fingers are starting to hurt, like I said, you can change things up, right?
Right.
So if you want, since we're really focusing on the rhythm side of things, we could do the E minor, A sus2 sort of thing, whatever you feel like. Okay. But rhythm-wise, what we're gonna do is let's go back over to this, and again, we're just doing this first measure, right? But what you're going to do is for the first 3 strums, you're doing the G chord, and the last 3 strums, you'd be doing the C add 9. Okay. So you're going to have... So your first down, down, up is all G, and then you go up, down, up.
Can't even do it that slow.
Try it. Just try to switch. You just needed to go back. So what you just did there is you went kind of just hung out there, right? We want back and forth. So really, it was just. You see, that's what I was talking about with the confidence thing, right? You just got a little thrown off at the end there, right? So, let's try it again. So try going. I think it's the start of the repeat that was throwing you off. So you did the first time. So you want.
Are we going through both or just
Nope.
the one?
Let's just let me make this better looking than for you. Goodbye. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Just repeat that.
I thought we were trying to. And then I was trying to remember
I gotcha.
both.
Yeah, just do that. So we're gonna have. Close. What you're doing there is this. See, you're still doing the right rhythm, but the transition was in a different spot. So you were transitioning on 4 and. So you were going 1, 2, and here. What we want is the last 3 to be all the other chords. So you have down, down, up, C, C, C. See what I mean? That's a lot harder. The getting something like that, and especially when it's changing. So if you were to go from this rhythm to the other one we were doing, it makes it a lot harder. If you were to, I don't know, you could change every beat if you wanted. You can go crazy. And you can the other thing that can make things really strange is when you have something. Then there's some fancy words for this depending on how you do it. So we're not going to worry about that. Let's go ahead and let's say we have another measure. This can be really awkward as well when you have a tie that goes across the measure. It's pretty darn weird when you don't hear the downbeat. Because if we were to play this the way it's written right now, you would have. Right, it feels kind of strange not hearing that downbeat. Where if you had. So really, I mean, if it helps you, you could just take a blank piece of scratch paper and say write out numbers 1 through 8 to represent each of those notes, and then just go ahead and make a mark on which one you're going to strum on. You know, so if you did that, let's actually do one of these. So let's go back to our one measure example. I'm going to make all of these eighth notes. And get rid of the tie. Okay, so do you want to tie the first and second one? Let's put 2 ties in this one. So do you want those 2? Okay, and remember you can tie as many as you want. So how many do you want to tie starting at the beginning? 2? Those 2 or more?
Let's do the first 2.
Okay, and then let's just to bring something up about that. You see how that's written with the one being tied to the other, kind of disappears, right? The other way that can be written is if you get rid of this and you make that a quarter note, because the 2 of those tied together is the same thing. But
well, let's not do that.
No, that's fine.
Second and the third together.
Okay, so just those 2 for that, and then any others? None. Okay. So right now you're going to have down, up, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so let's try that with, let's do E minor 7 to C add 9. So you're going to have...
Oh boy, all right.
You can play the whole rhythm per chord right now. So up, down, up, down, up. So if it's easier for you to count with the numbers, so 1 and 2, 1 and.
Yeah, I'm not really even counting in my head because.
Yeah, sure. So if you want, I mean, it can help keep. I mean, you don't have to count all the time. I mean, if I'm playing like a show, I don't count a lot of it.
Yeah.
But if you have down, up, up, down, up, down, up. So like right, if you wanted, like I said, you could do that, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Every downstroke is a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So if you had 1. Right?
Okay.
So 1, 2,
3. Okay. And 2. And okay.
Yeah. So the beginning of each group of eighth notes, including the one that you can't see there, is your beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and every second one is the upstroke. But I mean, really, don't overthink it, you know, because.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I always.
Yeah. So do down, up, up. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so down, up.
Yeah. So try just doing this real quick with me. So again, we'll do that call and response. So. Yeah, and then yeah, because really your hand is just going down, up, and you have to skip that one. I'm just really overemphasizing that. You don't
Okay.
All right, give that a shot. So now try switching between that and the C-add 9. So, go ahead.
Oops.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? You can definitely work on that to get it better, but at the same time, you also, and I don't think it's the most comfortable thing right away, but after you get a little bit more comfortable with, say, that switch or whatever, try and just keep it going. You know, so even if you mess up the fingering, try and fix it. You know, if you play a wrong note, play it again. You know, make it sound like it's on purpose. But
There
if
we
you're
go.
playing like, you can always add a finger late, you know, and because like getting used to fixing it will help a ton. It also makes you relax more because then you're not overthinking it.
Yeah.
Right. It makes you better at the problem solving when something bad happens. Bad. Right. What a catastrophe. All right. So yeah, let's try that. So. Yeah, so like right there, you second guessed it, right? And and you were right first, which is what happens most of the time. You're right, and then it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna mess it all up, right? Nice. So let's add another tie in here. So any number of notes. Actually, I'm gonna choose for you.
Oh goodness.
You shouldn't have agreed. No. Okay. So here, you still have your down up that you started with, and then you have up down, and one up at the end. Okay. So you have down up down up. So just try to do this. This is just purposely awkward to make you count a little bit, just to kind of work on it. So 1 and just do the first two real quick. So think that. Okay.
Oh.
So now 1 and. So the and should be the upstroke.
Oh, okay.
So 1 and. Because what you're doing right there is down, up. Yep. So then do that a couple more times. So down, up.
Okay.
Or 1 and. Cool. Now go ahead and do 1 and 2, 3. Sorry, I can count. 1 and 3. Yeah. So right now, then you're going to that note. Okay. Okay. Now the last part is awkward because you hold it for 3 of them. Okay, so you're gonna have down, up, down, up. 1 and
3. Okay. So 1 and.
So yeah, let's start doing this. Here, let's start with that. Not worrying about the and at the end first. Okay, so just. So 1, 2, one more time. Let's do that. Now all you're doing is you're adding a little upstroke at the very end to transition you back to the beginning. Okay, so you're gonna have. Those upstrokes are always I shouldn't say always, but most of the time real filler.
Okay.
And like just like at the very end, it gives you a little push into the part you're going into next. Yeah, so try that.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I'll give you a little bit of a break, maybe. Oh, the dented fingers. I'm so dented.
They hurt, but they're kind of numb at the same time.
That's cool. That's what we want. Hurting, numb fingers. Yeah, so that makes sense though. So just like, I mean, I'll just give you a couple examples. Like I said, you don't even have to think about, I should say it's kind of a pain in the butt to count to 8, which sounds stupid. But if you have to count 7, which is 2 syllables, and you're trying to do it at a faster speed, like some people abbreviate it SEV. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 7, 8. But I'm used to the
Can't
weird,
even count to 8.
I can't. I like 7, 8 better anyway because I think it sounds cooler.
Yeah.
Weird rhythms are sweet. But anyway, you could literally just write out the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then just pick which ones you're gonna pick on. And so like if we went like 1, 2, 3, and you would count your groups to make it easier. Okay. So like in this case, we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2. That's a really common one. What is it? That like this is not the right inversion, I don't think, but like a lot of people with this rhythm, that's still in 4/4, but it's gonna like think of that like I don't know why I'm thinking of Coldplay as an example, but that like that little piano bit, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. You can do this with anything. Alright, you get that. Or if we were strumming this. The smaller groups are always just easier to count. But you can count, like I said, however you want. How much time? We got a little bit of time left. So right now, I'm just curious. What are you feeling is like the easier thing for you, and what's like the harder thing?
Definitely like looking, like reading the rhythm. Like if I hear it, that's easier for me to figure it out.
Sure.
But to like just to look at it and then go from there. But like I get the general idea. Just I feel like
Needed some more exposure to it.
yeah.
Yep.
I just feel like I should practice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and just in talking about practice, if anyone's watching and wants the book that I did on practicing, it's kind of a 6-week class that I did, and I just divided each week of the class into a chapter. So I can send anyone that little practice book that I did. Just kind of compiled the handouts kind of thing.
I mean, I did like 15 minutes yesterday altogether, maybe even a
There's
little
more than
longer,
that,
but even just that little bit of trying new things and looking at the chords and switching back and forth, that built my confidence a lot. So, I mean, it doesn't take that long every day.
And it's better to do. I mean, we've had a weird week with the memorial and stuff, but like if you have, it's better to do a little bit on a lot of days rather than doing a whole bunch, like trying to cram it all into like one thing. So, yeah. But there's always a way of making it more challenging or changing it. Like if your fingers start hurting,
Yeah.
you can you could practice without even using this hand. I mean, you could play around with the tuning, make it sound pretty, so you don't have to do anything, or just hit it whatever you need. I do that stuff a lot if I'm just like, say I'm sick of playing these weird chords, just play a simple version. Make it easier for you or make it harder if you need. But yeah, break up what you're practicing. So if you're doing a little bit each day, you could do like Mondays are more this left hand, Tuesdays are more right hand, Wednesday's a song, or whatever. And obviously you can mix and match things, but it's good to have like a sort of like something that's concrete that you're gonna focus on for that time. Otherwise, it's easy to get scatterbrained, or just keep starting new things all over and over and over again. You know, like most of the time, what's gonna happen? We were gonna talk about the tablature thing more, but we can get to that next time because this is more important right now when you're starting off. What I would do, take a look at some, expose yourself to some songs, like looking them up, and you can just find whatever chords. A lot of the stuff online is not good. I can help you.
Yeah.
But it can be a good idea because you'll see the strumming pattern at the beginning if it's fully written, and then you'll have the chords above the lyrics. And it's just, it's good to expose yourself to a bunch of things, especially if it's a song that you're familiar with. That's like kind of stuck in your head because it's easy for you to, like the song from Parks and Recreation you were doing, right?
Oh man.
That makes it a lot easier, breaking it up like that. So I think that's a good plan for you. It's mostly a mental game, so it's not so much physical.
Yeah.
I mean, your fingers are sore, but
I have to remember that one. I'm not going to be perfect right when I start. Two, I don't think you'll ever be perfect no matter how long you play. Like, there's always something to learn.
I prove that every Saturday that we
every
stream.
Saturday.
With just my disasters. Oh,
but
man.
yeah, just getting more comfortable.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, like I said, we'll talk more about the tablature thing. Tablature is much more for specifics. So, melodies. If you had, some specific picking pattern. We were getting a little bit ahead of ourselves the other day with the finger picking kind of stuff. But if if you have a certain pattern that you want, right? Is that James Bond?
Like close.
Copyright.
Yeah. Can't
Cool.
play too many seconds of that song.
Nope. I saw something that was really awesome. Actually, this is a little side note, but the guy avoided copyright claim by just making random noises and like singing a different song over the top of it while it went to the chorus. That would be the part that the bot would be looking for or whatever. Yeah, people are clever. I legitimately just said peeper. Peeper are. All right, everybody. Appreciate you checking it out. Hit us up if you have any questions. And again, the donations, I'll put it back up real quick at the end. But to ASAN for free lessons. And have a good week. I'll be back on Saturday for sure. And I think I'm going to have to ramp it up to get more of my album done. So have a good day, everybody.
Bye, guys.